Welcome to all. On behalf of Chembond Animal Health, myself, Dr. Sanjay Gapat. I am a Deputy General Manager for Marketing and Sales. So today is our webinar, which is broadly on gut health and its restoration. Actually, we are running a webinar series. This is fourth webinar of this year. And we are very happy that Dr. Rais accepted our request of webinar as a speaker. So just a light movement, I request Mr. Saurabh Gupta, who is a assistant area sales manager from Anand. So I request Mr. Saurabh Gupta to welcome Dr. Rais with love of token bouquet. Thank you, Dr. Rais, for accepting our request for webinar. And now I request our business head, Rashmi Gauli, for giving an introductory speech on today's speaker, that is Dr. Rais Rajpura. Rashmi, ma'am, please.
Hello. Dr. Sanjay, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are clearly audible.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. And it's really my honor to introduce you, sir, Dr. Rais Rajpura. Dr. Rais Rajpura is presently working as an assistant professor at the Department of Animal Science, Anand Agricultural University, Anand, Gujarat. He obtained his master's in veterinary science and PhD degree in the subject of poultry science from Anand Agricultural University. At the university, Dr. Rajpura is involved in teaching and research activities of poultry science subjects like poultry nutrition and feeding, poultry healthcare, and farm management. He is also involved and working as a co-principal investigator in two prestigious projects of the university. He has published around 10 research articles in various national and international journals and have also published more than 25 popular articles and book chapters in local language for the poultry farming community. He has expertise in managing commercial boilers, layers, and breeder birds with precise nutrition and management for better and cost-effective productions, primarily focusing on birds' immunity, healthcare, and welfare issues. Dr. Rajpura sir also provides advice on poultry nutrition and feeding, healthcare, and farm management to commercial poultry farmers. His work in the poultry sector is well recognized by Pashudan Prahari, and he has been honored with the Global Poultry Academic Award on World Egg Day on the 9th of October 2020. So with this, Dr. Rais Rajpura, we welcome you and thank you for accepting our request for this webinar. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Sanjay, can you yes, can share my screen? Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Rashmi ma'am, for a nice introduction. And thank you very much to Chembond team, especially Dr. Sanjay Gapat, for providing me an opportunity to discuss and express my views on gut health. And especially today's topic is importance of gut integrity restoration in poultry. So next 45-50 minutes, I will discuss on the gut health, especially with the gut integrity. So when we talk about gut health, for 2,500 years back, by Hippocrates, it is said that all disease begin with the gut. So, and this is true with our poultry also. In commercial, today's modern broiler farming, if you want to manage performance and if you really want to make money, then we need a healthy gut, which is only possible ways with the good gut integrity. And this is only one golden rules to make a profitable poultry farming. So if anybody who is in today's webinar participants, if they are observing these issues in their farms or in their management or in their services, no doubt it's alarm to think on the gut health. Like if you are seeing any undigested feed in the droppings, if any running vent is there, any footbed lesions is there, this lameness, especially because of the enterococcal spondylitis, enteritis, coccidiosis, these are the some issues which is because of the poor gut health, or if gut health is not maintained or integrity is impaired. So looking to that and to solve the issues, today I will discuss on the chicken gut structure and function, how it works, then various components in gut integrity and gut which maintain the integrity. Then we'll discuss about predisposing factors for impaired gut integrity. We also discuss about feed, especially non-starch polysaccharide, carbohydrate, undigested proteins, how they affect the gut health, and how we use the enzymes in a best way to restore that or to counteract the effect of this NSPS. We also discuss on today early establishment of gut microflora at hatchery levels, how it can be done, and the underlying subclinical coccidiosis is a prime cause to damage the gut. So we'll also discuss, and the last one we'll talk on the ways to improve gut integrity, restoration, and then take home message. So this we all know that chicken gastrointestinal tract or GI tract start with the crops, then the proventriculus, then gizzard, then small intestine, duodenum, jejunum, ileum, cecum, colon, and rectum. It's a short intestine, or it's a very short intestinal tract. Feed is kept or feed is there in the intestinal tract for not more than 3.5 hours. So from the crop to cloaca, it's around 3.5 hours time, and that feed is to be digested and absorbed. So main function of the crop is primary storage of the feeds. Then in proventriculus, we all know that hydrochloric acid is secreted, which lower the environment. In the gizzard, when feed comes, the mechanical grinding happens. Here, I will focus that the importance of gizzard development that we will see in later in our presentation, that if there is a good gizzard development with good particle size of the feeds and good insoluble fibers, that will again play a very important role in the further digestions and digestion of the feed, especially protein. Then feed enters in the small intestine. Small intestine, mostly digestion occurred. All carbohydrate, protein, and fat is digested in the small intestine, particularly in the proximal part of the duodenum. Then feed enters in the distal part of the duodenum and jejunum. There is a major site of absorption of the nutrient, where we will mostly focus on the villi and microvilli. This is one important component of our gut integrity, that is villi and microvilli. So we'll see how villi and microvilli we can manage. And the Zika. Zika have the large bacterial communities, especially the Clostridiums are there. And if any gut health issue happens, how the Clostridiums are traveled from Zika to the small intestine, and they inflame the intestine, and they disturb this all the integrity. So this way, this is the function. And this last one is colon, where the water absorption will be there. And with this function, the intestine is the largest immune organ. 50% of the bird's immunity is from the intestine. That also we'll see later. So this is a graphical presentation. When feed is intake, it is ingested, mechanical grinding already discussed, then digestion with the enzymes. with all this enzyme is required to digest the feeds, which is either intrinsically produced. We are giving like phytase, which is not produced by the birds at all. We have to give exogenous phytase and NSPs, which is at all not produced by the birds, and that we have to provide. And ultimate absorption of the nutrients. So our main function of the gut is to, whatever feed we are giving, it is almost is to be digested and it is absorbed in the intestine, and then and only we will get 1.5 FCRs around the year. So to maintain this digestion and health properly, we have to maintain the integrity between intestinal epithelium, the microbiota, and the mucous layer, which is there in this intestine. So roughly, if you say intestinal integrity, it is described as an intactness of the intestine in maintaining a structure and function, or simply unimpaired or sound intestine. Sound intestine will give sound digestion, sound absorption, and sound performance of the birds. So first, I will focus on the villi and microvilli. We all know that the villi and microvilli is there as a fungal-like projection. This will enhance the surface area of the intestine, and this is the primary cells which is responsible for the absorption of the nutrient. We all says that our villi height should be more. Mostly in the jejunum, villi is more, and it's a taller villi is there. So if gut health is good, we have a good villi. And if good villi is there, good absorption of the nutrient is there. Only digestion is not important. Once the food is digested, it is to be absorbed. It is only absorbed well when our villi or the bird's villi is good. And over villi, there is also microvilli, which again increase the surface area. So if it is good, then only absorption is good. Again, there is a heavy cell turnover is there, or the cell volume turnover is there. So to maintain the intestinal epithelium, body need around whatever feed we are giving, around 20% body energy expenditure will be there to maintain the gut villi and microvilli, or the restoration of daily repair and restoration of this villi. This you can see electron micrograph photo of this villi. On your left side, you can see it's a villi, and this is microvilli. This is how it look like under the electron microscope. This is black and white picture. This is normal. This is this is normal picture. And if any gut issue is there, then the villi is disturbed. And see how if eroded or the poor villi is there. And we can't expect a good absorption with this kind of impaired villi or impaired gut. Even this is a microvilli which is so much disturbed, and this disturbance, again, if there is more disturbance, more energy is needed to maintain and restore the intestine. So instead of body, which is energy which we are giving for the growth of the birds, that is used for the maintenance of the intestine. So at the end of the day, we will suffer from the poorer FCRs. This is because the body will utilize this energy to restore this villi. This is the color histopathological photograph of the villi, good villi. You can see it's difficult to see microvilli in the histopathology, and see the poor villi. The large number of this the mucus producing cells is there. This eroded villi is there. As the intestine is disturbed, the mucus production is more. If mucus production is more, that is again not good for the good gut health. When more mucus production is there, pathogenic bacteria will develop. So we need a minimum or whatever the required mucus production is there. Along with this villi, this gastrointestinal tract has the diverse microbiota. And under this microbiology, we can see in the crop, the lactobacilli is there. In gizzard, lactobacilli is normal commensal E. coli is there. Duodenum, streptococcus, lactobacillus, E. coli is there. In a small intestine, mostly lactobacillus is there. See, in the ceca, mostly clostridiums are there. They are residing in the cecum only, because where the pH is less. That was a microbiota. This is recently, because of the science developed, our PCR technology is developed, so we can differentiate the different bacteria which is present in this intestine. No doubt there is 140 different genera and 640 species of the bacteria, but only 10% bacteria we know with their species and their function. The rest 90% is we don't know what is there in the intestine. But if broadly we see, mostly lactobacilli are present in the ileum, because in the intestine, in small intestine, duodenum and small intestine, pH is low. These are the acid lovers bacteria, and because of the acidic pH of the intestine, the lactobacilli is more in the ileum and in the intestine. But when we goes to the cecum, where the pH is alkali or toward the alkali pH, where the clostridium is more. So here one point is there, we have to maintain a gut pH, and we have to maintain the normal gut pH. So whatever possible solutions we have, either water acidification or feed acidification, that is to be used, and is to maintain the acidic pH. And the acidic pH is there, then in that case, the Clostridium bacteria which is there in the cecum, they will not come out from the ceca, they will not reside in the ileum, and there may not be any the inflammation, and the enteritis cases will happen. So this is the importance, why we have to maintain the gut pH. No doubt there are bacilli there and so many bacteria is there. Here again I will say the all Clostridia is not bad. When we are talking Clostridium, Clostridia is bad, and Clostridium perfringens, only one Clostridia, that is Clostridium perfringens, that is bad for the poultry. Otherwise, like Clostridium butyricum, that is good for the poultry. Same way, all bacilli is not good. No doubt in poultry, whatever bacilli is there is good, but all are not good. If we are maintaining the microbiota, the mucus, and the villi and microvilli and the cell structure, this is after that it is possible to maintain the good intestinal immunity, because the gut associated lymphoid organs which is present in the intestine, like Peyer's patches or proximal Peyer's patches or Meckel's diverticulum, sickle tonsils, this will give a 50% immune organ. When we are talking immunity, we are only talking about the thymus and bursa, but we are not talking about the intestinal immunity. When gut health is good, intestinal immunity is good, bird's immunity will be fine. Okay, so in nutshell, we have to maintain a proper mucus, no excess, no less, proper mucus layers. We have to maintain the intestinal epithelium, and whatever the epithelial cell is there, they are tightly joined. That is called a tight junction between the intestinal epithelium. If any impaired gut is there, then the tight junction is leakage, and in that case we can say there's a leaky gut. Leaky gut condition is there when there is a translocation or the bacteria from the gut to the body. And one classical case of the gut leakage in early life, that is Enterococcus cichorium. Enterococcus I will also discuss in my next slide, or in this presentation. When in initial days, when the gut health is impaired, whatever the normal commensal enterococcal bacteria is there, that is translocated from the intestine and goes to the bloodstream and localize in the floating vertebral column, and where they grow and it damages the vertebral column. Once they damage the vertebral column, we may find in a later age, after 10 days or 15 days, some lameness issues. This is strictly correlated with the impaired gut in the early days of the life. So that's why from beginning of from the hatching or from beginning, we have to maintain the gut. And the third is the large diversified microbial community. If we manage these three things, mucous layers, epithelium, and the commensal microbiota, then we have a good antimicrobial peptides, which is produced by the commensal microbiota and the cellular immunity. So we have to focus, when we are talking about gut health, we have to focus all these three things, how we manage the waste. So if everything is good and your bird's gut health is excellent, then you will get this. This is the normal fecal droppings and cecal droppings. You can put your farm photographs or your advised farm photographs. What kind of fecal droppings you are cutting. This is the first by looking to fecal droppings, we can say, okay, my gut is good or poor. So first we can see, and we can see if any poor gut issue is there or any gut integrity is disturbed. Anything we will discuss what are the factors which affect the gut integrity. If anything happens wrong with the birds and in the farms, you may find undigested feed, you may find diarrhea, you may find inflammations, you may find running vat. This all is because of the impaired or poor gut health. And you can put here also whether your farm is falling in a previous slide photographs or in here. According to that, you are making, whether you are making money or not, this depend on the where you are putting your farm's photographs. And there is a disturbance in the microbiota. It's not like necrotic enteritis. Sometimes we say it's called a dysbacteriosis, dysbiosis, subclinical necrotic enteritis, or bacterial enteritis. These are the words which is used. It's a subclinical or disturbed gut microbiota or disturbance in the gut microbiota, which causes dysbacteriosis. May not be a clinical signs will be there, but it harms your birds. And most this Clostridium, I told you, this Clostridium perfringens, this is a bacteria which is responsible for poor gut health. And the bacteria which produce net B toxins, and net B toxins damage the guts. And once the net B toxin damage the intestinal epithelium, intestinal epithelial will produce more mucus production. To counteract the effect of toxins, the cell produce more mucus. If more mucus is there, you know very well that mucus is a protein in nature. And if protein is more, undigested protein or mucus protein is more, other bacteria is also flare up. Means that mucus protein is good for the development of the bad bacteria. So more mucus production, more bacteria. So at the end, we are ending with the worst condition. We started that Clostridium perfringens, or we started with the subclinical or dysbiosis, and at the end of the day, we end up with the necrotic enteritis like cases. So this is main bacteria, and whatever focus is there on the gut health, primarily when we are using or we is using antibiotics, we focus on the Clostridium perfringens. But Salmonella is also there, E. coli is also there. That is also causing a poor gut health. So if we have a good positive bacteria, then all good things will be there, like Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus, like it inhibits the pathogenic bacteria, immune response is good, it helps in digestion, it produces lactic acids, it synthesis vitamins, this everything is good. But if it is impaired and poor bacteria is there, you all see that Clostridium or sulfate reducer bacteria is there, diarrhea, constipation, infections. That's all the bad things will be there. So we have to maintain the balance between the good bacteria and bad bacteria. Okay, no doubt, good should be good. And clinically, when we do any postmortem examination, not postmortem examination, this is a routine, the gut lesion scoring. We have to see the different kind of the intestinal content and intestines morphology. This is from the Wetworks. See the ballooning of intestine, more gas production, more ballooning. This is not good. See, C1 is okay. The good tonus intestine, that will give good results. C2 is a poor tonus because of the poor gut health. The D1 is poor, D2 is good. See, B1 is good, D2 is poor. In E, you can see undigested feed in the column part. If we see any single particles of feed ingredients in distal column part, it's really an issue of the gut health, and we have to think seriously on this topic. This is inflamed intestine, which is not required. This is a normal intestine. This is inflamed. This. Okay, this all about normal things, and if abnormal things happen, then what happens? But why this issue is more in the broilers? If you compare broilers and layers together, the gut health issue is more in the broilers. In layers also is an issue, but it is only when you are not feeding good ingredients, or your feed mill and feed ingredients is not good. Haphazardly, you are feeding some poor quality ingredients. Then poor quality gut or gut issue is more in case of the layers. But in spite of giving good feeds like maize and soybean only based diets, also we are facing more issues in the broilers. If you say feed same maize and soybean diet in the layers, we may not find any issue of the gut health in the layers, but we find more issue in the broilers. This is because the high desire of the feed intake by the broiler birds. Suppose one bad day or one bad morning, your gut is disturbed. What happens? What we will do, or anybody like a normal human beings will not consume next meal or next day dinner or lunch. We will skip and we'll go with the light food or some yogurts and curd only, because we know that my gut is disturbed and I have to give rest to my guts, so it's automatically repair. It's a normal mechanism. But in this our modern commercial broiler birds, this things is not like that. The gut don't want feed, but the brain says that okay, I need food, so bird is consuming more and more food, more and more feed. At one point, gut is damaged, is not able to digest food, not able to absorb the foods, and again there is a input of foods in the gut. So ultimately, it's undigested feeds, and undigested feed, it goes to the distal part of the intestine, the condition will be worse. So that's why the birds, this broiler is more suffer. We have to think more seriously to the broilers when we are talking about the gut health. And again, see the consumption, how much amount of proteins and calorie we are giving to the bird. 1 kg broiler is consuming 20 gram of protein. That much protein he has to, bird has to digest and absorbs energy, fat. So this all will end up with the poor gut health if we are not managing well. So along with that, some factors which affect the gut development, its integrity and health. It's not only feed factors. When we talk about feed, the post-hatch holding times, particle size of feeds, fiber, especially insoluble fibers, not soluble fibers. Soluble fibers are NSPS, which cause damage to the guts. Insoluble fibers is good for the gut. Your undigested proteins that cause damage to the gut. So these are the factors: feed levels, waters, excess salt, high stocking density, temperature, anti-nutrient factors like NSPS, mycotoxins, particularly low level of mycotoxins causes disturb the intestinal integrity. We'll see coccidiosis, subclinical coccidiosis, how we have to manage the coccidiosis, that is also we'll see, and Clostridium. These are the some factors, some points where we have to think seriously when we are talking about the gut health. So in this series, first we'll talk on the particle size. We'll not go in that much detail because each and every topics to discuss in detail is difficult in 1 hour. But I will highlight the particle size. If there is a good particle size in the feed, there is a good development of the gizzard and proventriculus. This is on the right side, the gizzard is good. If right side gizzard is good, we'll see pointer. This right side gizzard is good. This right side gizzard is good. Right side proventriculus is good. This is because we have fed the bird with good particle size feed and good insoluble fibers. If we give a fine feed to the birds or fine particles, the gizzard development is not there Preventive plus development is not there. Here, if the development is good, here more hydrochloric acid is produced by the birds. Means more protein digestion will be there. More hydrochloric acid is there, and in good gizzard development, fine the grinding will be there. And if these two things happens, and feed will stay quite longer time in the preventive and gizzard. This is required. We don't want to stay feeds longer time in the intestine, but we need to stay feed longer time in the preventive and gizzard for proper hydrochloric acid mix up and the grinding. And that's why we have to think on the particle size of the feeds and insoluble fibers in the feeds. This is a fiber, it's an essential nutrient of the poultry, and we can use oat hulls, lignocellulose, whatever is there. We have to maintain. Sometimes we go to the feed mills, and we observe that when the hammer mills blades are changed, suddenly the particle size is finer and finer particles we observe. So these things we have to correlate with the hammer mills and the feed mill manager. We have to train our feed mill manager. So we need this particle size, 1 mm particle size for the early, and 2 mm or 2.5 mm particle size for the later age. So these things will be there from the feed side or particular feed mill. So that used to be the thing. Then all the factors like non-starch polysaccharides, feed, undigested proteins, mycotoxins, coccidiosis. This will changes the physical changes in the gut, disturbance in the microbiota, change in immune status, proliferation of Clostridium perfringens, and necrotic enteritis will be there. So this is the consequences of or predisposing factors and consequences of the necrotic enteritis. So see one by one, this inert material, insoluble fiber, I told you it's a good, but soluble non-starch polysaccharide, that is not good for the birds, because non-starch polysaccharides enzyme is not produced by the birds. If it is not produced, it is not digested, and it will is as a soluble NSPs, it interfere with the digestive process and increase the viscosity. If viscosity increase, feed will reside more, or resident time in the intestine will be more. I told you we didn't want to put reside more feed in more time in the intestine, the small intestine, in the large intestine. It's to be easy as soon as absorb and pass. But if reside more, viscosity more, and if viscosity is more, the gut microbiota is disturbed, and poor nutrient absorption will be there. So this count around 6 to 9% xylans, arabinoxylans, and beta glucans. And if viscosity is increased, pathogenic bacteria is increased, gut irritation will be there, thickening of the gut mucosa is there, and ultimately we end up with the gut necrotic enteritis. So this author Raja said, or is described that in the non-starch polysaccharide, there are so many non-starch polysaccharides to digest that we need multi enzymes, or we have to rethink on our enzyme application and how we best utilize our non-starch polysaccharides with the branch and the branch this enzymes. The xylanase is there. See, there are numbers of beta-xylosidase is there. Furanidase is enzymes which is also helps to digest more arabins and arabinoxylans. Endofuranidase is there. There are a list of this non-starch polysaccharides. We have to rethink on this enzyme application for better digestion of the non-starch polysaccharides and to get rid from the gut health issues. Okay, when there is a good carbohydrate digestion, we all know that it oligosaccharides to monosaccharides. Monosaccharides will go to pyruvates cycles and Krebs cycles, and they produce the energy. But this monosaccharides is also digested by the bacteria to produce lactic and acetic acids. Here, the importance of bacteria or gut microbiota. See, the bacteroids, lactobacilli, and bifidobacterium, which is there in the intestine, which convert monosaccharides to lactic acids or lactates and lactic acid and acetic acid. This is required. And further, the another bacteria which produce or which convert lactic acid to propionic acids and acetic acid to butyric acids. This is ultimate. Our aim is to produce from monosaccharide to propionates and butyrates. So formicates, Clostridium cluster 9, formicates, Clostridium cluster 4 and 14. These are the bacteria which is required to convert the lactate to propionate or either butyrates. And this is our end. When the propionic acid or propionates production is there, then energy source is used as an energy source for the epithelial cells. It reduces the salmonella, reduce the inflammation. Butyrates, we all know that butyrates are butyric acids and valeric acids. They are the source of energy for the intestinal cells. They are the source of the energy for the intestinal cells. So the villi length and villi height or villi restoration happens with the butyric acid. So for this, we need a good bacteria. If suppose we don't have a good bacteria or our gut is disturbed or we use extensive use of the antibiotics and feeds, and if we disturb this all good bacteria, because antibiotics don't know which is good and which is bad bacteria, it kill all this bacteria, there is excess lactase production. If excess lactase production is there, pH is dropped. If more pH is dropped, the lactate is not sometimes good for the enterocytes and it kills the enterocytes. And again, too much lactic acid production in the intestine is not good. So lactate is ultimately to convert into propionic acid, and then our story will end. If these things happen, if good bacteria is not there, then the monosaccharide is used by the bad bacteria, and this produce this H2S and methane, that is called as a methanogenic bacteria and the sulfate reducer bacteria. This is the Enterobacteria salmonella and pathogen bacteria. And that's why we see the ballooning of the gut when there is a poor gut health. That's why H2S, and because of the H2S, because there's no good bacteria, whatever monosaccharide is there, that is used by the bad bacteria, and the gut ballooning is there. So here it is clear that with the recent all the studies and scientific research, we need a balance of good bacteria in the poultry gut intestine. Next, move on the protein digestion. We are giving a protein to the birds, and I told you 21 gram protein is consumed by the 1 kg birds. If it is to be digested 100% or properly, then it is okay. If it is not digested, if protein is not digested in an early part of the gut, and if it goes to the distal part in the large intestine, in the cecum, it flare up the bad bacteria. Whatever the bad undesirable bacteria is there, they will utilize these proteins and they produce biological amines, gas productions, scoring, this necrosis, everything will be happen. So here I will focus on the uses of the protease enzymes. We all say the protease is to be used when there is a soya price is higher, or when we have to reduce the feed cost, then it's to use the protease. But rethink on the protease. Your protease is required if you want to maintain a good gut health. You have to think on the protease and your protein digestion. If we are giving exogenous protease, good quality protease, then it digests most of the proteins, and there is no undigested protein in the distal part. There is no or very minimum chances of the poor gut health. And ultimately, more protein digestion, its body weight gain will be more. So this is all about the undigested protein and gut damage. This is that. Protease enzymes is to be used. The amino acids, which helps to prevent the leaky gut, like arginine, which protect the intestinal barrier function, the glutamines, the threonine. Threonine, when we think about the amino acid, we have to think on the threonine. Threonine increase the mucin synthesis and maintain gut barrier integrity. So not too much, but mucin production. But for mucin production, threonine is required. Next, move on the mycotoxins. Mycotoxins, we say that it's a clinical sign, then we think on the mycotoxins. But in this season, you see, there is a subclinical mycotoxins or very low dose of the mycotoxins is there. Especially aflatoxin also, ochratoxin also. See here one example of a deoxynivalenol. If there is a low level of the mycotoxin, that is deoxynivalenol, it damages the intestinal cells. If the cell is damaged, the leakage is there. It will tight intestinal integrity or tight junction of the intestine is damaged. I told you once it is damaged, the nutrient uptake is disturbed. Plasma leakage is there. Again, as mucin plasma leakage is there, there is a good food for the Clostridium bacteria. Nutrient absorption is disturbed and cell death is there. So not only clinical mycotoxins, we have to think for the low dose of the mycotoxins also. And one more things which damage the gut, that is subclinical coccidiosis. We all know that the coccidiosis, or the sporozoites, they develop in the cells, and once they mature, it liberates from the cells, and at that time they damage the cells. Same story, once there is a good control on the coccidiosis, everything is good. When there is a subclinical coccidiosis, leakage is there. Once the cell is damaged, more mucus production, more plasma leakage, more or end up with the poor gut health. So subclinical coccidiosis, when you have any, or when we observe any case of the necrotic enteritis or enteritis cases, we have to think on the subclinical coccidiosis also. And this all, I already discussed that intestinal barrier dysfunction is disturbed. The enterococcal infection will be there, and spondylitis. This kind of spondylitis, this is totally related with the gut health issue. This enterococcal spondylitis, there is no relation of this enterococcus with any calcium, phosphorus, or any minerals like that. We have to think when there is a lameness issue of the birds, we have to think on the gut health. So gut health, poor gut health is also one of the reasons for the lameness issue. So next time when you see any lameness, think on the gut health also. Okay, this is all about damage and everything is there. Now we'll see how we best manage the guts and how people are doing, or what is going on in the industry, or what industry is doing. I have collected some from the industry, the information, and presenting to you. So we have to maintain the good microbiota from day one. As in a commercial poultry farming, we are hatching our birds in a totally sterile environment, when birds is not exposed to any kind of bacteria. And that is our prime requirement at our hatchery. Our hatchery is too much hygienic. And there is no gut bacteria which is developed in the gut. See, in the contrary nature, the birds will get the microbiota from the mothers. So this is not possible in our commercial operation, and that's why we have to feed the birds with the good probiotics at the day one or at hatchery levels. If it is possible at hatchery levels, a good probiotic spray at hatchery levels, this will give a good early microbiota establishment in the gut, and this will give a good gut development. So if we spray it, the birds will be picked that this good microbiota, that is lactobacillus, bacillus, or Saccharomyces cerevisiae, whatever the early establishment is, especially lactobacillus and Saccharomyces is there, Boulardii. And intestinal epithelium, which is covered by the good bacteria, and there is no chance of the bad bacteria to colonize in the gut. If we are not giving good bacteria at day one, obviously at farm levels there is a bad bacteria, because the bad bacteria is resistant. We all know that when we spray anything, good will die early first. Bad all are there, E. coli, Salmonella, Clostridium, all will be there in the farm, and they will colonize. If if this bad is colonized first, in a broiler life, we end up with the poor gut. So gut health is, when we talk about gut health, it is to be things when the chicks is hatch out at chick box or hatchery levels, or at least at day farm. And see, people started this on-farm hatchings. This is some photograph collection from the vet first and bank committees. See the how people are thinking. This is not for the only for the improvement in the body weight, but a good gut health, for early development of the gut, early development of the microbiota. People started on-farm hatchings to see what will be in future in our Indian or other Asian countries. Okay, this is for the good gut establishment. And then I told you for the coccidiosis, we have a numbers of the products. We have to think strictly follow the anticoccidial programs. Golden rule, because the coccidiosis is one which causes damage to the intestine and cause poor gut health. So golden rules, this chemicals use not more than 3 months, inophores not more than 6 months. This is a golden rule for any anticoccidial program, and rotate this between the different class of anticoccidials and strictly follow. Design your anticoccidial programs for at least for 2 years and strictly follow that anticoccidial programs if you really want to maintain good gut health. So this is one thing. Again, for the maintain of the gut health, we still are using antibiotics or AGP, but somewhere we are using in a proper dose, somewhere we are using indiscriminate. So indiscriminate use of antibiotics, that is to be prevented. And we have to cautiously use antibiotics. Antibiotics which has only anti-inflammatory effects, because when gut is damaged, we have to use only antibiotics which has anti-inflammatory effects, and that anti-inflammatory antibiotics will be end up with the good growth promoter, not haphazard, not indiscriminate. As in future we will move out from the antibiotics and we will focus on non-antibiotic the broiler productions, we have to think on the different class of the gut health products, and that is alternate to antibiotics growth promoter. Because antibiotics have a blanket effect. It destroys all the clostridiums. But I told you, all Clostridia is not bad. Only Clostridium, we have to target only Clostridium perfringens. But see, suppose if you are using any AGPs, they don't know which antibiotic, which Clostridia is to be killed or which is not to be killed. So it kill all the bacteria. And previous slide you have seen, if all is killed, we end up with the poor viterates production. That is detrimental. So when this knowledge we have of the good bacteria, then we have to think on the alternates like probiotics, lactobacillus, bacillus, yeast, enterococcus. Prebiotics, it's a good for the probiotic bacteria. Then acids, organic acids, phytobiotics. Recently, the essential oils, they are very good, and they are good as a alternate to AGPs. So when we move out from the AGPs and when we think on the gut health product, whatever work we are taking from the AGPs, that work is to be taken from this all class of this alternates. So we have to combine. There is no silver bullet against AGP. So we have to combine our knowledge and our research and our experience and select or combine the best product, so that will give a good health. So in probiotics, we have this number of probiotic bacteria there. Especially lactobacillus is to be used on early establishment of the gut. When there is a establishment to maintain the gut microbiota, we can use the bacillus and the yeast like Saccharomyces boulardii. And if any issue of the enteritis is there, in that case, again, we use water medication or water application of the probiotics. This we all know that Probiotic is good for health. They are the good bacteria, promote gut maturation, modulation of the intestinal immune system. They produce antimicrobial peptides, and the antimicrobial peptides will kill the pathogenic bacteria. It also stimulates the immune system, neutralize the enterotoxin. So it's a good selection of probiotic bacteria is required. And first, it works as a competitive exclusion. When the establishment is there is no colonization of the bad bacteria. So this is the picture how the probiotics will work. So pathogen binding, the microbial peptide production, immune modulation, and this trophic effects is like that. Then we think on the prebiotics like moss, beta-glucans, inulins, fructooligosaccharides. This all is there. This is the food for the pre-bacteria. If we need a good lactobacilli and bifidobacteria, they need food for their development. They need food. So this bacteria will grow on this mannan-oligosaccharides. So we have to add mannan-oligosaccharides, or we have to think on the mannan-oligosaccharides when we think about the probiotic. There is a effect called a symbiotic effect between prebiotics and probiotics, and the probiotic effect will be fine when you use any prebiotic along with the probiotic. Again, it decreases the Clostridiums and E. coli. Various research says that the prebiotics will decrease the E. coli, Clostridiums, decrease Campylobacters. Here we are not talking about the Campylobacters, but foodborne pathogens. When we are talking about food security or good broiler production, hygiene, then we have to think on the Campylobacters also. So this is the mechanism of action of the prebiotics. It produces short and fatty acid. This is also produced from the feed also, but it may not be sufficient. That's why we may have to think on the prebiotics, and we have uses is to be used. Next is organic acids. We all are using organic acids, either it's short chains or medium chains. Organic acid is there. This first formic, acidic, and propionic. This will give you a good pH or antibacterial effect in a undissociated or a dissociated form. If it is dissociated, then pH reduction in intestine is there. This is required to maintain gut pH. If it is undissociated, it enter in the bacteria and kill the bacteria. So in both ways, we will take the advantage of the organic acids. Like butyric acids, it's a good food. I already discussed for the butyric and valeric for the intestinal development and villi development. These things, this caproic and lauric, when we talk about alternate to antibiotics, this we have to think on the medium chain fatty acids, and they have a direct antimicrobial effect. So this is all about this organic acids. This is to be used. The next one is phytobiotics. We as Indians, we are very good in the phytobiotics. We are generators of the phytobiotics. In our Ayurveda, we have a good knowledge of the phytobiotics. We have a good knowledge of herbs, a good knowledge of botanicals, oleoresins, essential oils. So herbs and botanicals we were using since long times, but in recent years, the usage of essential oil is increased, especially because it has a direct antimicrobial effects. It kills the bacteria, and it works similar to some AGPs. And that's why the oregano oils like thymols, carbapenems, and even this curcuminoids also, it has antimicrobial effects. Not only antimicrobial effects, essential oil will enhance the digestive enzyme or digestive juices secretion. So normal enzyme production in the digestive tract is enhanced or increased by the usage of the essential oil, and it end up with the good digestion of the food which we are giving, and ultimately there is a good performance we can expect from the essential oil. So In nutshell, or at the end of my presentation, I will sum up whatever I have discussed. So to maintain the gut health, if any issue of the gut health, we have to reduce the feed intake, but it is not possible in commercial broiler. Otherwise, there is no gain or no body weight gain is there. So to maintain the feed intake, we have to use good toxin binders. We have to follow anti-coccidial programs. So there is a minimum damage in the guts. And the second is, this is a vicious cycle. This is from the Vatter's Dr. Martin. He says there's a vicious cycle of the gut health, and you have to focus on each and every topic. When there is a poor digestion, we have to think on the chorus, already discussed, insoluble fibers, NSPAs, protease, phytogenics, that is essential oils, that will help in a proper digestion and nutrient absorption. When there is a gut damage, definitely there is a shift in microbiota from good to bad bacteria. That's why we are using antibiotics, AGPs. We may continue for certain years, and at the end of some days or at one good fine mornings, or when the antibiotic will be banned. So we have to focus or think, or we shift from AGPs to organic acids, probiotics, prebiotics, and phytogenics. So that will restore the microbiota, which is utmost required. And whatever the morphological damage happens in the gut, that can be recovered by butyric acids and valeric acids, prebiotics, most beta-glucans, and phytogenics. Phytogenics are estrogens, so it will be used. So this holistic approach is to be followed, is to be implemented when we are thinking on the gut health. And when we approach each and every corner, when we think on each and every corners, then we will get good gut health and good performance of the bird. So the take-home message for today's lecture is gut is the most extensive exposed surface area of the body. Many factors negatively affect the delicate balance of various components of the guts. A healthy gut comes from the homeostasis or a fine balance of diverse microbial community within the gut and the structures. Strategic application of appropriate nutritional and feeding practices will maintain gut integrity, enhance gut microbiota composition, its function, health, to fully express the genetic potential of modern commercial birds. Thank you. Thank you very much for question hearing or listening to me.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. It's a very informative webinar. And I request all participants, those are in the webinar, kindly share your queries in chat box. So after 5 minutes, we'll communicate your queries to speaker, and they will address your queries. Meanwhile, I will just highlight you the Chembond's offerings in gut health management. So, doctor, I request you to unshare your PPT.
Okay, that is done.
So, thank you all. Chembond Chemicals Limited was established in 1975 by Dr. Vinod Shah. It was a listed company in BSE and NSE as well. We have 750 plus group employees. Our group revenues are near about 340 crores. We have pan-India footprint in manufacturing, sales, and services. We have our R&D and head office is in Navi Mumbai. We have a diverse portfolio of specialty performance chemicals also. So in Pan India, we are operating, we have our manufacturing units also. In animal health, we are catering into poultry, dairy, and aquacultures. Our main offerings are We have our own manufacturing plants for prebiotics, probiotics, enzymes, and biosecurity products. So in feed additives also we have our presence, and we have provide customization in vitamins and mineral premixes. These are our strengths that we are provide customized solutions, and that is on affordable pricings and time. So we have research and development team as well that guide us on product formulations. We have a pan-India presence, and we have a good technical and sales staff in our team. They are very experienced. They know how to cater the customers, and they neatly identify the customer's requirement. According to that, they provide our services. We have our in-house manufacturing facilities. 99% of products we manufacturing at our own strength. We have some flagship brands in market also. So Previte Alpha D3 is our brand that connects to corporate account, and also we have offerings in liquid supplements as well. So we have so many flagship and good quality brands. We have certified for the manufacturing facilities for production of feed additives and supplements. These are our gut health offerings in poultry. So we have a Chembond Bio Group is our umbrella brand for probiotics. Under this brand, we offers single and multi-strain probiotics that really helps in support gut health and its development by maintaining intestinal microflora. We also have feed and gut acidifiers range of products. Chemosity Gold and Supreme is our penetrative products in the market. They helps in stabilization of gut pH. They also helps in reducing pathogenic load and improves gut integrity. So we have a good kind of clay-based oxygen binders like Zerotox. So this group have several brands, brand extensions, and actually we caters entire poultry farmers and feed millers through this range of products. Our toxin binders really helps in absorb mycotoxins, and they directly or indirectly take participation in gut health program. The range of we have also range of individual and multi enzymes. Okay, through that our offerings really helps in overall digestibility and nutrient absorption. Also, we have very balanced emulsifier, feed emulsifiers for poultry that really helps in fat digestion and nutrient absorption. These are our gut health offerings in poultry. So this is our gut health program benefits. Our gut health program offers provides benefits in different ways, like in improvement of gut health development. They also helps in microflora, that is eubiosis, and also we have some natural solutions that really helps in overall health performance. Our programs also supports in gut integrity and restoration of microflora. They are also responsible for reduction of pathogenic load in GI tract, and finally, all put together, our products helps in improving feed efficiency and feed hygiene. So these are our offerings in gut health management. If you have any product related inquiries, here are some contact details of our zonal managers. Mr. Irlavalli Viraya is responsible for South and West zone. Mr. Rajesh Bist is from North. He's taking care of the entire North market. And Mr. Somnath Banerjee is there, who is supporting East zone in sales. And we have a technical team also. Dr. Rakesh Tiwari is a technical manager for North and East, and Dr. Saurabh Kawate is for South, West and South. So thank you all for your active participation. Now I will open this session for query handling. Now there are queries in chat box. Dr. Rais, my voice is audible to you?
Yes, yes, sir. I have
Yeah,
seen the chat box. There
yeah,
are
yeah.
a number of questions in this chat box. So I read and I will answer.
Right, right, sir. Please.
Okay, okay. So first question is from Dr. Bibek. The question is it true that mash feed is better than pellet feed for better gizzard development? Any difference in significance of gizzard development in broilers, layers, and breeders? Would you recommend feeding mash for long living birds? Yes, sir. Mash feeds, if we compare the gizzard development on the mash feed and pellet feed, obviously on mash feed, the gizzard development is better, or good gizzard development will be there in the mash feed. But the advantage what we are getting in the pellet feed, that is because of the pelleting and the cooking of the feed. That's why we are getting. So we have to maintain a particle size in the pellet feed also for the better development. In practically, if you rear the birds on the mash and pellet feed, and if you open the birds and if you see the intestine or in the gizzard, definitely you will find the difference. Mash is a good. So for development, it is good. But for efficiency, pellet is we are using. So in pellet, we have to think for the particle size, not less than 1 mm. In long laying birds, okay, mash feed is like recommended in long living birds. Layer mostly we use mash feeds. In breeders, it is recommended mash feeds because the feeding time is increased and we need the 4 hours or 4.5 hours feeding times. In pellet feeds, it is good. Again, cost is there, but the feeding time is also reduced. So definitely we can recommend mash feed for the long laying birds. Okay. Next question is, what do you suggest, mash feed for better or pellet feed? Same, I answered. Third one is why the nutritionist is recommending insoluble fiber in breeder feeds, especially in grower stage or for male feeds. Sir, this is from anonymous certainly. The insoluble fibers is recommended in the breeders, especially in a grower stage, for the good gizzard development. If good gizzard development is there, bird will obviously have a good digestion power. And the research says that insoluble fibers will give a longer resident time in the intestine, longer feed cleanup times that is required, and also says that the uniformity is increased, cannibalism is decreased, the moisture in the fecal material that is decreased by insoluble fiber. That's why insoluble fiber is recommended in breeder feeds. Okay, now to next question is, what percentage of butyric acid is produced by the broiler birds if gut health of the bird is optimum? Sorry, at this point I can't give answer for these questions because exact quantification recently I don't have. I will search out and I will answer your questions. How much of butyric acid is produced?
Sir,
Quantification.
it's 25%.
Okay, okay, sir. Do you have an idea? Then you can
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, it's in research articles
Okay,
that.
okay. Thank you, Dr. Sabas. The next question is how to make sure a good anticoccidial program for a farmer who purchases feed from multiple companies, check multiple breeding farm and hatcheries. For first questions, multiple companies feeds, we can't say what kind of anticoccidial program is used. It's a different for the different companies. So it is difficult to answer these questions. And there is no relation of anticoccidial programs with the multiple breeding farms and hatcheries, because the hatcheries or breeding farms, if it is vaccines is used, then we have to think on the anticoccidial programs. Or in breeders, if there is no vaccines and they are on the anticoccidial program, especially in the deep litter, then there is no question of thinking of this anticoccidial program. But we can't say, or we can't say even good anticoccidial programs with multiple. So in that, we may end up with some subclinical coccidiosis. The next question is from Nitin. To Nitin, would you recommend to use probiotics and antibiotics when unavoidable simultaneously? In feed, it is used, it is recommended, whatever the companies who is producing probiotics, they says that the probiotic is compatible with antibiotics. So in feed, we can use and it is recommended. But for water medication and for water application, I will say no, or say separate it is to be used, not on a single water, antibiotics and probiotics together. I recommend if there is any case of the enteritis case, and if you want to use any gut acting antibiotics, I will say one in a 12 hours use antibiotics, and if you want to restore the guts, you can use probiotics, but that is separately, not in water. I will not recommend water simultaneously. Feed, we can do it. The next question is there any thumb rule to maintain good gut pH, or simply using the water acidifiers continuously? Can we avoid using feed acidifiers when using water acidifiers via water? This question I will answer. We have to maintain water pH from 5.5 to 6.5. That is optimum for the bird good gut health. And there is no much more deviation in the intestinal pH. We can't reduce drastic intestinal pH by any means, but good water pH is maintained. The hydrochloric acid, or you can say buffering, we are using so many of carbonates in feed. That's why in initial parts, to counteract the effects, you have to use acidifiers. Second question is, can we avoid using feed acidifier when we use water acidification? If our water acidification program strictly follows, and if we are maintaining 5.5 pH to 6 pH continuously, we can omit feed acidification. But make sure that your water acidification program is precisely managed. Next from Nihar, question is, sir, how to evaluate good probiotics at the different companies are providing different species of bacteria? It's difficult to answer these questions, but ask the research trials from the companies and make sure which probiotics you want, for what reason you want.
Sir, may I answer this question?
Also, sir.
Yeah. So Nihal,
hello.
It's a very
Dr.
good
question. Can you answer this?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good.
Yeah, you can.
It's a good question, Nihal. Thank you for asking the question. See, there are different methods of probiotic evaluation. First of all, they must be thermostable if we need to include in feed. Okay, they must be strictly thermostable, naturally thermostable probiotics we need to select. Then these probiotics need to adhere with the intestine. Otherwise, what will happen? The bad bacterial count will be settled down in epithelia, and they will only grow. So good bacteria need to be adhere with epithelia. Then they must be having the functions like they are responsible for secretion of enzymes, organic acids, and antimicrobial substances. So if if it is better if they grow from the culture of poultry gut, because then they are having a, similar environment to grow in poultry gut only. So you need to evaluate the probiotic on these three stages. Like first of all, they need to be thermostable. Second thing, they need to adhere with the epithelia. And third, they have defined a mode of action like secretion of organic acids, enzymes, and antimicrobial compounds. Thank you, Nihal. Yes, doctor.
Okay, sir. Now there is no questions. One question is there. Ola Qundox is AGP. It's a banned AGP in Europe. Banned AGP in Europe. Anything which is antibiotics is used as AGP, but here we are not using any this kind of AGPs. Okay, sir. So, sir, whatever the questions in the chat box is there, that is answered. If any questions left, I don't know. I don't think any question is left here.
Sir, that AGP that person asked the question, that is mainly used in pig only, not in poultry.
That used in pig. That is used in pig, and it is used in pig, not in poultry. I need doxycycline is a good anti-inflammatory effects, and that is used as AGP. So I told you the AGP. One thing is that it should have a good anti-inflammatory effects. That is used as a AGP or growth promoters, not all the antibiotics.
And sir, there is one question that I need to highlight that
yes.
When we use probiotics and antibiotics in feed simultaneously, you already answered it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there are compatibilities with some probiotics. In poultry, most of specific drugs are used for antimicrobial actions. So every drug have their specific receptors for their antimicrobial actions. So mainly the probiotic antibiotics we used in poultry, they don't have that negative impacts on probiotic, and the count is to be maintained in such a way that after addition of antibiotic, their count will be at optimal level. So we can use probiotics simultaneously along with AGP. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
So the last question is there. What is the main thing to consider to maintain gut immunity?
Where?
Dipendra Kandel is asking the same.
Yeah. What is the main things to consider to maintain gut immunity? So gut immunity will come with the balance between a microbiota, intestinal epithelium, and mucin. If these three things is good, your gut immunity will be fine. All the pairs, patches, and the patches is there in the station, it's a good development. All these three things is not in a good manner, or integrity is disturbed. Definitely integrity is different. So at the end of day, we have to maintain the microbiota population, the intestinal epithelial, the tight junction, and the mucin production. So for that, all whatever possible ways is there, that we have to think. That is already discussed in our presentation. It is to be maintained.
So there is a question from Dr. Santosh Hire.
Yes,
you read it and
yes,
try to answer the question.
Modern broiler is so versatile. How important to formulate ration and choose additives smartly. Please guide looking to birds' health and safe food. This is totally for the formulation of the ration. So first is you use good quality ingredients. This is the first and foremost thing is required. Whatever people are doing to cost optimization of the low quality ingredients, that again damage the whole broiler or whole the scenario. So ingredient selection must be good. After ingredient selection, ingredient quality must be good. And apart from this main ingredient, the pro-nutrients is there, that is also there, and this additives. Additives choose wisely, looking to the requirement, like the good antioxidant programs strictly followed. If we are using AGP, then it's okay. Then not, if not, then the alternates to prebiotics and essential oils. So how best you will get the performance. And there is no standard formulation for each and every farms or each and every corner of the country. It is varies from place to place and the farm to farms also. So in one line or in a two lines, it's difficult to answer this question, sir. Modern formulated rations, additives. But good selection with good experience and good selection will help you with the good end up. Next up, if you have any answer for these questions of Dr. Rais, you can please answer, Dr. Sanjay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The question is very nice, sir. Actually,
Very
this
nice.
is this is a today's requirement. You are rightly said, sir, that ingredient selection plays an important role in, looking into the safe food or looking into bird health as well, because ingredient contains a lot of anti-nutritional factors as well, and there is a big concern on their storage as well, because during storage, the mold formation and other issues are main concerns. And according to that, we need to select the feed additives schedule, and the farm history farm history is very important. If it is a broiler farm, then history of that pathogenic load is very important. Looking into the history of pathogenic load, we need to select medication schedule as well. So proper selection of feed additives, medication schedules, and quality of good ingredients, raw materials is utmost priority, sir.
Yes, sir. Right from
So,
ingredient to your last additives, we have to think seriously.
So now thank you, sir, for your active participation in webinar and guiding our audience on gut health management, looking into the scenario, current scenario and future as well. So this is a monsoon and coming season is winter as well. So gut health is most compromised during the climatic change. So maintaining a good count of probiotic bacteria and overall gut health is very important for the optimum production. So now there is Dr. Rakesh Tiwari is there in our team. I request him for a vote of thanks. Dr. Rakesh, please. Dr. Rakesh, now you can talk. And audience, please, whatever your questions are there now, I will carry forward it to the doctor. So due to time concern, I will reply in your mail. So you please mention your mail IDs as well. Thank you all. Please, Dr. Rakesh.
Sir, am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, doctor, please.
Okay. Now I got this control. So, good afternoon, Dr. Rais, sir. I am Dr. Rakesh Tiwari, Technical Manager of North and East India. It was really a great session. And on behalf of my all customers and audience, I express my sincere gratitude for your presentation on such a practical and important topic. Your expertise on this topic was evident. Your insight provided a new perspective that generated thought-provoking discussion even among us, among our audience, and it have really prepared us to become more conscious on gut health. We all were thoroughly engaged and learned a great deal from your discussion, from your presentation, and we hope to have you with us again very soon. Once again, my big thanks to all audience also for your presence, and thank you so much for Dr. Sanjay sir and management for providing our customer this kind of a very informative session. So thank you again, Rais sir, and thank you all my audience.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh. And once again, thank you, Rashmi ma'am and Saurabh for being there. And thank you, Dr. Rais, again for your this nice webinar. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. So now we can conclude the session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Chembond, for providing an opportunity to express my views on gut health. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor.